What is going on, everybody? Yeah, 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 you see him. Yeah, yeah, you know it. We got a special one today, man. Frankie, everybody knows who he is. Diamonds on the Moonman Experience. How are you doing, my brother?
What's up?
Let's
What's up,
go.
everybody?
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Hell yeah, man.
Exciting.
So, how you been?
I've been well. I've been well. I've been fighting, fighting your typical stuff, kids off, and things like that, and trying to set up this thing for Star Atlas and beyond.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of working parts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a lot, man. And look, I'll first say it so people know, man. I've always been a fan of the Alessio family. I feel like if I wasn't a part of Final Frontier, my home would be the Alessio family. I think what you guys got going on over there it's just raw. You guys got a bunch of smart people over there, and it's just a place to be. You know what I mean? And I've always been a mafia guy myself. You know, the books, the movies. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like home, and I think that's why people generate or gravitate to you guys so much. It's like something they already know. You know what I mean?
Agreed, agreed. And it hit home with me. I mean, between where I grew up, around the people I grew up around, and just my background and the books, the
Mm-hmm.
movies. I now I'm back into the mafia YouTube, which is wild, man. So some of them are on audiobooks, so I don't always read the books anymore. But man, you hear all these names and stuff. I'm like, I went to school with that niece or his nephew or that one's son. It's wild, man. So it does. It has a pull. It definitely
Yeah.
has a.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The brand is like, you got like the Rome Guild, you got the Alessio fan, like you got some of these guilds out there that are branding something we already know, so it makes it that much more stronger of a guild or a team that you can recognize and relate to if that happens to be your home that you want to choose to go to.
Absolutely, man. And in my gaming past, I've done familiar style, guilds, and those were always the more successful ones versus say like military or you know all kinds of different types, pirates, Roma, horde maniacs type guy. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it was always the family style that seemed to work the best. And that was in traditional gaming. So this is a different space, but it's a space that hasn't even been tapped yet. So I think sometimes what's true and tried also works. I've done a mafia one where I was the leader. I've done a mafia one in one of my first online experiences.
Yeah, yeah. Now, we had talked before, and you had mentioned, well, so the Alessio family obviously will be doing bounty hunting, and let's bring up Star Wars because you had told me about that one time, and you actually have, and we said we were going to talk about it. You actually have like a deep background in the one Star Wars game where you were doing bounty hunting, and it got crazy in that game. Maybe you want to touch on that because that shit was the brief what you were telling me was crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, man, that game it was ahead of its time back then. It was community driven, which I haven't felt anything. I've been a lone wolf probably almost ever since. Because I had to walk away from it. It became a full time job with no pay.
Mhm.
And but that game was socially driven, so that made the bounty hunting even more important or interactive or hated. I mean, there was a million different ways you could look at it, depending on how it was. But once they introduced Jedi's, and they didn't have Jedi's at first, and you had to basically grind skills to get you know an unlock, and then you got holocrons, and then you did all this stuff. So when you were an initial Jedi, you couldn't show. Well, you never could. You couldn't show your lightsaber in public. You couldn't use powers in public. If you did, you got a bounty immediately. So that was like a way of getting, it's like Star Citizen, a crime stat.
Right,
Each
right.
level went higher, so your bounty got higher and higher as you did. So you defend yourself. You're going to be defending yourself, in front of people, and that just made it go up higher and higher. So what initially what had been done, because the beginning Jedi's were actually weak. You had to work your skills up. It was a brand new character, except you got a lightsaber. And you could shoot a little lightning or whatever you may, whatever side you may have been in line with.
Hmm.
Um, so back then, what we would do is we would form groups, depending on which side of it you were on. Now, if you were on the Jedi side, you'd have a healer. They had what was called combat medics too. So you would have a doctor, A combat medic could throw poisons and things like that. It was wild how it was basically a stats guy. You would have a tank and you would have a damage dealer. Like you would end up rolling just to go do skills, which would put you on the bounty list because you're doing it in front of non Jedi, even in a group. But you would have this anti gank squad. Now, when the bounty hunters we would roll in, you'd have the guy with the bounty.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you'd have two bounty hunters sharing the mission. Then you would have healers, combat medics to throw poisons, and states like that. You would have maybe a melee damage dealer can come in, do knockdowns. States. Depending on what type of melee character it was, and maybe long range support, which fits. It's all about fitting those three pillars in the traditional games, except we'd have like six or seven. So what was cool about Star Wars was, it was totally fitted around the Star Wars universe. You'd have seeker droids and probots, and you could send these things out depending on your level of bounty. I mean, if you were a
Mm-hmm.
master bounty hunter, you could send out probots all over the place, and they would actually ping the location of where the person is. So then you would hunt them down, and then you'd throw another one out, and it would just give you pings till you got to the point where you either had like a larger guild like mine, and we also had friendships with other guilds. We'd have eyes everywhere, sitting in the places where they had to go to heal. So you would have healers, and your mind could get damaged. So your blue bar would get damaged, which was your mind. So you had health, action, blue bar. So you had to watch an entertainer to heal that blue bar. So they were always somehow ended up somewhere sitting to heal their mind. It either be a camp or in one of the cantinas or an outpost. So you had eyes there waiting, calling it in. Yo, just seen so and so. He's here. She's here. Boom. You just start, you just get the whole posse together and just roll in.
Right.
Uh, so that was a pretty wild. It was wild. It
Excuse me.
started using methods outside of the game.
Mhm.
With the guys, the spies. People. All of a sudden you're sending spies into these guilds. Find out when so and so, because they'll blast it like, hey, I'm on Dathomir, and I'm at the furthest corner of the map, and I'm getting such crazy XP, and then they call it like, yo, so and so's here, and
Mm-hmm.
if you had the money, you would do it. You just give them a nice tip, 50,000 credit or whatever. But it kept people calling it in,
Yeah.
and it was wild, man. And that's part of the social game too, because if somebody wants to be on your good side, even a guild wants to be on your good side or something. If you got the power in the PvP section, people are going to gravitate towards that center. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
kind of how
Yeah.
we ran it. And believe it or not, I went imp in that, which were basically the bad guys, but there was such a huge rebel population. I said, I got to go imp. I said, there's just too many. There's too many guys to fight with over what crumbs. Like, I'd rather be the crumb fighting everybody else. So that's the way we went. But you know, you play into that lore and you just roll with it. And bounty hunting is really fun. I got several plans for this game for Star Atlas. I got several plans for it.
Yeah, man. Same, dude. And that's so sick to hear that, like, you come from a background of playing a game, and I never even thought a Star Wars game got that deep, but like you have the skills that you're just literally gonna just copy paste right into here, and the background, which is gonna help so much for the Alezio family and just for yourself when a game like Star Atlas comes out. Like, it's gonna be nothing new. You're gonna have to learn the new mechanics, but the whole
Sure.
style is gonna be just copy paste,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously,
beneficial.
with new wrinkles and stuff, and
Hmm.
I too much bounty hunting in Star Citizen. I finally went back to that recently. I will, but right now, Bootneck, he's joined me over there. Kanecki's joined me over there, and we're hoping in time many more members come over and actually play with us. Because some do play. Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. You guys are gonna have to set me up on Star Citizen because I got the game paid for it, got my entry ship, all that stuff. But on my stream PC, it's like all buggy and doesn't want to act right because that's just the way that game is. I got it on my SSD as well as my game PC. Same thing. It acts buggy, but I got it on my SSD. So there's some settings in there that I just don't have right.
there are,
That's making
there
the
are,
game
there
act
are.
crazy. You know what I mean? And I think that's the case with this game, anyways. Like, everybody talks about how crazy it is, how buggy it is, but if you get the settings right, you're good to go, and it's fun
You're
as
good to
hell.
go. You're good to go. I mean, you'll have
Yeah.
your ups. Like the other day, I got up in my bed and I rolled over and I rolled out the window. I fell 5 or 6 stories down and
Shit.
I lost all my shit. And it was in a box where I couldn't get it.
Damn.
And that poor bootneck died. They were trying to save me because I had a crime stat. I tapped a couple guards in the head by accident when I was on a mission, and
Yeah.
of course I got the clean headshots off on the wrong ones. But I was doing a solo bunker mission, and that gives you crime stats. So I said, "Well, screw it. I'll just get all the armor." I just shot everybody, and I was running around one of the ports, one of the cities, and I couldn't link to anywhere for them to pick me up, and they figured a place to come get me, and Bootneck fell out the back of the door, and he fell about a story and a half and splatted. Only like 100 yards over, a little bit more, he would have fell right in front of me. It would have been great.
Yeah.
I would have film.
Yo, that's funny, man. See,
Yeah,
that's what I
no,
like. That's what
that
I. Go
you
ahead. Go
know
ahead.
is it's computer heavy.
Yeah.
So it's not just GPU. Sometimes it does a lot of leaning on the computer itself.
Hmm.
So, a little bit of RAM, like you free it up with like a booster of some sort. Like I got the RAM booster I use sometimes. Sometimes just freeing up some different apps will just give you them extra cores you need. And then sometimes it's just a setting. Sometimes it's just, a couple little things here and there. But it's
Facts.
wild. Bounty hunting's pretty wild in that game.
Hell
Now I'm going
yeah.
mercenary route right now because what we want to do, our overall plan is to start building our army. I mean, we're building now. I mean, this is the idea. We're building now because I've done another deep dive into the Star Atlas white paper. And if you really read it and read it with a mindset of going, is this war? You see it: territory war, city wars, regional wars, mining, 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 mining. Mining is everything. Mining is the number one thing in this game. It's all about mining. So if you find some mine with XYZ mineral that is so important to make, maybe some type of ammo, a needed ammo that just shreds everybody's shields to pieces, but it's very rare. If you find that, you telling me somebody's not going to jump you for it.
It's
You got
happening.
a full fucking shipload full of this stuff, right? You telling me somebody's not going to go, yo, they got 100, 1,000 boxes, whatever, however the unit of
Right. Right. Right.
measurable. We got to get that because if you watch on YouTube, there's one guild I actually really enjoy watching them. They are so organized and so detailed. Their YouTubes are really enjoyable. Mongrel Squad on Star Citizen, they're pirates. Yo, these guys will get you, and they get you in a tactical military manner,
Yeah.
and it is unreal. So you're telling me real money's on the line, even without real money. It's a game, It's all about flexing. It's all about having it. It's all about defending yourself and your people. You need that mineral. Most of the time, they'll let people do the work, and then they come along and take it.
Hmm.
Other times, you know what they do? They hold them for ransom. They say, send us 100,000, credits, and we'll let you go.
As they
You
should,
don't
right?
reply, you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. So, speaking of like other games and how that's going to correspond with, Star Atlas. Let me, we it kind of got brought up either last Wednesday in the one discussion with Newt and Santi, or it was the one before that. I don't remember which one it was, but I believe the one guy named Lucius, I don't remember his Twitter name, but was saying, yo, we got a lot of people that are going to be coming into Star Atlas once this game is ready, or already coming in and forming their guilds that are coming from places like EVE Online. How do you think that's going to affect this game? And do people need to understand? And what do people need to understand about that? Because a lot of these teams, some of the names he mentioned, I've heard about these people on EVE Online, and these guys got years of experience in games like this, and they are going to wreck people if people don't understand what they're bringing to the table.
They are absolutely going to wreck people because everybody, at this early stage of the game, everybody's holding hands and they think it's going to be this dystopian, kumbaya fest. You got guys coming in from Eve, yo, they were playing with real money and they were making real amounts of money. Uh, they ain't messing around.
Yep.
They Terri their whole game is tactics and territorial takeover. So they're gonna come in like a possibly like locusts, if you get my drift. Now, I'm not saying they're locusts. Um, I've played with people from Eve. I've chilled with people from Eve. I know people in real life that have played Eve, but it's a mindset. It's how they game. They're gonna, and if it's red, dead. If you're in our way, we're gonna take you out. And that's the key. Like now, if you're sitting on your little city with this great mining planet in the middle of nowhere, once these guys get wind of that, they're going to go after it. Like that's our territory. We wanted that. We're going to come get it. And that's what a lot of people aren't getting. Like everybody, even some people in Alessio have been like, "Oh, I didn't think it would be that way." You sure? Like, blah, blah. Yes, absolutely is.
It will be.
I'm not talking about real life money. I'm just talking the gaming. You got to remember, a lot of people are going to come to this that are gamers,
Yes.
and they've been doing it for free for years.
Real gamers. And what do you
Real.
what like if you could like give like if you could say a message right now to people that think that gaming is not a priority in Star Atlas and figuring out what your team should do, what would you say to those people?
Don't even bother. Straight up. Just make your investments and flip them. Don't even bother. There's a place for everybody. And you know this. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
a place for everybody. Like, you know, with us, you know, we want the brains. We have the brains. We have nothing but brain power. I mean, these guys are so smart. Sometimes I walk away going, I feel like a pig at a wedding. You know what I mean? Like, I feel,
Yeah. Oh, I know.
um,
I hear the Let's guys, man. You guys got a smart bunch over there. Some not
it's
dudes that are
incredible.
just yeah, yeah.
It's incredible. But there's, you know, there's a place for artists. There's a place for crafters. I mean, crafters are the backbone of any game. They are
Mm-hmm.
the backbone, but they got to be protected. You
Mm-hmm.
can't have artisan guild anywhere in the you know, high risk zone, even medium risk. You're still going to lose your shit. You'll get it
Yep.
back, but you're still going
You're
to
just
lose
gonna
your
have to
shit.
pay to repair it. It's gonna cost you real money.
That's going to cost
You
you
can
money.
only you repair a ship so many times before you say, "Fuck, maybe this
No,
isn't for me. I'll stay in the safe zone and just
Adam,
fucking,
right.
you
And
know."
guess what? Where these alliances come in that are good. That's why you want to get with a family. Say, look, I'm a crafter. I know you guys are a soldier guild, but you're going to need crafters, right? And they're going to be like, sure, absolutely, you'll be gold because those guys are going out. They're getting the stakes. They're getting the mines. They're protecting the guys getting it. They're running the cargo back with the escorts, and they're feeding those crafters. There's some guys that just want to sit in a chair and create the most high level stuff on the server. I mean, that's been going on for years. And I get it, man. If that's your game, you want to be at the top of it, or you just want to make a quick buck and you're still doing stuff that's important. But if people think they're just going to mosey on out in this medium risk zone, or not even ever moseying out in those zones with no connections, they're going to spend an awful lot of money to get what they need to be where they're at. So security forces are definitely needed. And that's like I've been crazy about it. And Boots on board with me. And we got a few things going, and you know,
Right.
we keep it in a, you know, a tight circle.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, he jumped on the Star Atlas with me. He goes, Jesus God, you're right, man. Bloody hell. He didn't really say bloody. I love it.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, wow, like this is serious. And then I sent him some videos. I'm like, look at this. These people actually have to qualify for a turret seat in this one clan. They have
Uh-huh.
to qualify. They have to get qualifications just to sit in the gunner seat. Think about that, where they
Uh-huh.
have real life military tactics, real life military lingo. You know, I mean, some of the ops I watch are just incredible. I'm like, wow, man. You know, I used to always like to be a meat shield and just go in and tank the hell out of everything. But like, you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
do anything. You know, Leroy Jenkins definitely has a place when you're drinking some beers and having some fun. But you protecting people, you know, you got to be right there. And
Yeah.
you know, there's some business ideas we have formulated that I think will be very successful once it launches.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff I really don't want to say out loud yet
Understandable.
because I mean, you know, once one does it, I mean, hey, that's a good idea. I can make that better, even. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's kind of stuff I don't want to say, but it'll be basically it'll be to the point where we're PMC to a degree. I mean, because that's what everybody doesn't get. Like everything evolves. Even mafias evolve. I mean, even real life mafias evolved into business and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to be the bad guys. King Cobra asks every time we talk, "Are you guys bad guys?"
King Cobra. I love that young blood. Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're not going to be bad guys. We're just using the law.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you could call squads like a hit squad or knocked
Mm-hmm.
around guys. Have fun with it. I mean, and
Yeah.
everybody, everybody's watched one or two movies or a show or and sure, there's going to probably be a gray area. Somebody's going to need to dip their toes into that gray area. I mean, maybe it's not a bounty, maybe it's an assassination. But if it's a bad guy, you take them out. But even on top of all that, so you have the UMO. Is that right? UMO.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The United Metaverse Organization is the UMO,
Yes.
and then the agreement is the United Metaverse Accords, the UMA.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's I always get those two flipped.
Yep.
I still don't know what ships I own. So I mean, it's just how it is for me until I do something out of memory so many times. But you'll have the UMO, right?
Hmm.
Say 10 guilds come from Eve. You think they're going to join the UMO, or you think they're going to stay in their Southern Coalition or their, Red Bloc Coalition or the Blues, whatever it may be called. They're going to have their own coalitions. They're like, we don't need you. Now, granted, take this too, where a lot of these gamers and guilds are going to need us. Step one, we were here at the ground floor.
Right.
You got people like, Jimmy Hoffa and the Don. They're business minded people. They're money people. They've worked on the business side of a lot of things. The gamers aren't going to necessarily have that. They're not going to. No, I'm not saying they can't because they can. There's
They can
people
learn, but yeah, I feel exactly what you're saying. I understand it. Yep.
now tax. I mean, just the lingo alone, it may take them a year or two to. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't come in just as a gamer and a gaming guild and go, wait, what? Wait, real money? What? Wait, we can make. How do we do this and not get slammed with taxes or? So you're not going to be able to just throw up a corporation overnight. Now, granted, I'm sure quite a few of them can because they have real life people doing real life things that have ideas, and not every gamer is opposed to NFT gaming or blockchain gaming or Web3, whatever you want to call it.
All right.
Metaverse is going to get played out probably by the end of the year. I think that word is actually overused at this point. Everything's friggin' metaverse. I mean,
Yeah.
but there's going to be guys coming from there. There's going to be guys coming from Star Citizen. The Star Citizen ones, because they got ground and air, they're going to be the ones that are going to be the ones that are scary.
Mm.
And they're passionate. That's a passionate fan base. They're paying real money. They don't own the things, and they are putting the time into a bugged out game with barely any content. I mean, there's content, but you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
and the PvP end is everything, and it's over minerals, it's over cargo, it's over. What can we get from this guy? They got a new event there called Jump Town. You can't even touch it as a lone wolf or a couple guys. You
I've
go
heard
in.
about it.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I watch videos on it. It's awesome. I was thinking about taking boot out there, but I didn't want to lose our armor. I was going to say, let's just grab a couple sniper rifles, sit up in the hills, and pick people off for fun. Because you take either side of the mission. You could take the law side of the mission where you recover the drugs from the bunker, or you take the unlawful side and you take the drugs and you sell them into the market from the bunker. There's people rolling out of there with $1 to $2 million worth of drugs. Like that is
Yeah.
not easy to do. Like that's like 60 bundles, that you can only fit, one run up to the ship. You got to run it out to the ship. You don't just push a button and it appears there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And that's basically your mining claim right there.
Yeah, Star Citizen is no joke, man. Yeah, this is making me. You got to show me. I don't know how much time you got today, but we got to get those settings right because I got to get in there. I'm telling you, I got to get in there. Now I did start playing Elite Dangerous. That's a little bit easier. You download it, install it, boom, it's ready to go. Those settings aren't as crazy, you know what I mean? But game's beautiful. Been playing that with the Bulk Guild, so those guys are really nice over there. They got me all hooked up. I've been playing with the joystick and thruster, getting all into it. But yeah, that Star Citizen, I need to get in there.
There's a YouTuber out there, and she came from Elite Dangerous, and I
Okay.
believe brought some people with her. I mean, she's amazing on how she sets up. Just her videos alone are
Mm-hmm.
just amazing. She, does the voice, over like, after the fact and tells you exactly how it's happening. And she's one of the PMC type. She goes back and forth between pirate and PMC. Like she's a little bit, she's still trying to find her footing, but she came from there. She goes, I'll never go back after seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
And a hardcore major followed person from there.
And I gotta say, man, like the dedication that these people put into the Star Citizen videos, like I think I've watched over at least 500 hours of content because you could just hear the passion in it, and they show off the ships, and they bring you through a story, and they show you the beauty of the land and the ships and the it's movies. They're making cinematic movies when you watch these videos of Star Citizen. It's gorgeous.
It's unreal. It's unreal. And I've done the same where I just watched it and like, sometimes they're kind of funny, other times they're like a serious story. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this talent, man, like, and that's a lot how Star Wars was. A lot of Star Wars Galaxy people went to that because that was right around the time it was all like it all blew up. A lot of people from there went there. I mean, a lot of people went to WoW because that's when WoW had just started taking over the market, and then Guild Wars too. I walked away from it all. Like I said, it was a full time job for me. I find myself digging up old videos from back in the day in Star Wars Galaxies and just trying to find some of those people that were with me back then. Because these people, man, we had a lot of women in our guild, like women, like, and they were the backbone. They really were the backbone to our guild. Like without them, it would have been just a bunch of crazy ass dudes just running around shooting shit all the time, And we would have like a freestyle Friday night or Saturday night
Oh
where we'd
yeah.
all get on comms, and I'd be drinking with guys in Scotland, but they're like,
Yeah.
dude, it's like 10 in the morning here. You know that, right, mate? I'm like, oh, well, it's 3 a.m. here,
Yeah.
But we would have our fun, and we'd all, just do funny things, but still go out PvP it. But
Mm-hmm.
without that backbone, it probably wouldn't have been as organized or successful. It certainly would have been decorated the way it was. I mean, because you could build cities and everything else. I laid down a city around lakes in the middle of nowhere next to no starports. The only way you could get in was from our shuttle, which we controlled. If you were a rebel, man, you got banned on sight. If you were blue, you were out. Like, or red, obviously, but you were out. You were banned immediately. If you're not the purple color of your faction, you were done. And this way you had to walk or you had to drive, and we knew you were coming.
Right. Damn, man. I like this. I like it. It's gritty. I like it. And yeah, I think it's so important that guilds play games together before Star Atlas comes out. Like we have 5 years, we have 4 years, 3 years. Like get
Yep.
that game, get that camaraderie going. Understand who's got the IQ in a game. Understand who knows how to manage what. Understand who knows how to do finances, inventory, logistics, operation. Like figure that shit out before it happens. Because
Exactly.
here's what I say. Here's what I say. Like you can market your ass off. It doesn't matter. But if you're doing 80% marketing until the game comes out and then 20% gaming and then you try to transition to 60% gaming, 40% marketing game day, I don't know how much that's going to work. I get it, but
Well,
like
you kill your brand because now your
yeah.
brand marketing, it's all been chit chat and social. I mean, and social support, but you went from one end to the other, but now you're just a group of noobs.
Yeah, because you're gonna have people that come from these other games that have been playing for fucking years. Elite
They're
Dangerous, or not Elite Dangerous, but I mean, yeah, Elite Dangerous. Eve
even some
Online. Eve Online is gonna fucking. Eve Online
oh,
players are gonna fucking crush us if
they're
people don't get their shit
coming like
together.
bulldozers, man. And that's why I mean, and I was
Yeah,
trying to find chain games like FPS stuff and all. Like
yeah,
my major is on FPS right now because you can get people in the flying, but they got to learn how to shoot. You got to see who. Not everybody's got the natural skills or the want to do it. So
yeah,
okay, that's great. Let's find a spot for you because there's always a spot. I mean, we're talking these things are turning into real life businesses. You know this because you're in a real life business at this point,
yeah,
you know, and so there's a place for everybody, but you gotta see who's, maybe you got somebody who's just an ace dog fighter, man. Like, okay, man, you're gonna lead a unit, or you're gonna be an officer in a unit. You're gonna do more than that. Maybe there's some guys that are just techies and they want to be a part of the fun, but they don't necessarily want to go out and quick twitch and sweat and scream and get the shit scared out of them because
yeah,
somebody shot their tail up or something. But there's your Overwatch, man. I mean,
yeah.
today everybody's got a stream. Everybody can stream. It's easy enough. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stream everything into Overwatches where somebody else may see something, on ground or in space. You got
Yeah.
guys doing Overwatch just in games on snipers, where they won't even shoot anything for the longest time until it's needed.
Yeah.
They're just playing Overwatch, just staying on comms, and
It's
you
like
know,
with it,
important too.
it's like with me with these I bought the joystick and the thruster. Look, I never done a flight sim
It's hard.
before.
It's hard.
I've never done it before. But you know what I'm not gonna do is not prepare because I know I got 3 to 4 years and I'm a very
Sure.
quick learner when it comes to games. I'm an athletic person in real life, you know what I mean? So I have
Yep.
sports IQ and I understand shit very well and I pick up on games very quickly. So there might be some people, that are coming from the Star Citizen and the Eve on or not Eve Online, Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous. They've been playing for a long time. Of course, they're gonna dominate me when it comes to these joysticks and thrusters or dual
Sure.
joysticks, whatever it is. But I know that I've got 3 to 4 years to prepare, and that's plenty of time for me. I just need everybody else that wants to be doing this shit and be out there with real money involved, digital assets. I need you to get your ass on these same things and start practicing because I know I'm going to pick it up well. I'm not tripping off that, but I need the people around me and everybody in the Star Atlas community to be doing the same thing. Some people are, some people aren't.
10%,
Yeah.
110. Man. I mean, because once the game launches, what are you gonna do? Keep these ships that you paid all this money for in a garage?
I don't want
You
to
can't
lose that shit, but I want to be
play.
out there. And you know what I mean?
I,
So who's going to
I
be
don't,
with me?
I'll chase somebody down over a $15 thimble, no
Swear to
doubt. I
God.
will.
Swear to God.
I will friggin' haunt their lives over $15.
Yeah.
But and some of that is pride. Sure. I mean, most gamers are prideful, or you wouldn't be playing games at a high level or at an elite level if you didn't have pride in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've gone into games, I'm like, this sucks, and I just didn't even care. Here, kill me, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you don't have it, you're just gonna get steamrolled, and everybody just thinks they're just gonna build things and stick a little stake in the ground, and Stellaris is just a holdover. It's just something. It's just a cute way of, honestly, it's just a cute way of staking, which
Yeah.
I appreciate it that they give us something. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. And there's people even out there complaining about like the hangar, like having the hangar with the ship in it. Let
Mm-hmm.
me tell you something.
What
People
do
will
you mean
spend
hanger with the
thousands
ship
of
in it?
dollars.
What do you mean?
Like when they come out with that
Oh, the
Unreal
module.
3.
You're talking about the module. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
uh, There was people spending thousands of dollars to use somebody else's assets in Star Citizen in the very, very right after the Kickstarter. I was there. I mean, I just didn't. I just never. I just go in and out. I was just always waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a lone wolf. You can't do much as a lone wolf in games like that. But at first, all you could do was go in the module and check out your ship. You couldn't do anything else. So it's a gift, man. And you know what? From there, I can't really give you the dates or the times. I'm not that well versed, like, or have the memory. But it was a couple minutes later. You were actually on a port, and now you can fly around a little section and do some things. Some tiny missions and what have you. Some PvP. So I mean, everything evolves. I mean, and I'd rather it evolve that way than wait 3 years and have nothing.
100%. I agree, man. I agree. Um, I don't want to take you up on time, but I know you said you had the kids running around and stuff, but let's keep going if you're down.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Facts, facts. Okay, cool, cool. So, what do you think? When do you think we're gonna get that first, even Stellaris gameplay from Star Atlas? What's your vision on that? Because we know modules are coming. They said, hey, it's not Eve, it's not Star Citizen, it's Stellaris. That's gonna be the first, implemented game into this whole ecosystem. When's that coming? Do you think?
You know what? Swags had
It's
put
hard
out
to,
there
yeah, it's hard to tell.
20th though. He said something about April 20th. People were going to be happy. I don't
Okay,
think I don't think that's what I don't think that's what he meant. You know what I mean?
right.
So it's not about April 20th. So maybe. I mean, that's what the end of the quarter roughly. I think we see it soon. I do. They wouldn't announce it if it wasn't close to polished.
Yeah, I think what you're, yeah, I think what you're talking about is like the inventory swapping in the ship configuration. Is that?
Oh, it may be. It may
Yeah, I
be.
think that's the ship configuration where we can April 20th maybe. I don't know for sure, but that's what I know is coming. You got the module,
Oh,
then you got the ship configuration, which is going to be like buying and selling parts for your ship, and then you can put them on a marketplace and get this turn and that hull and that cargo bay, and you're going to be able to do
start
shit
a
like that.
crafting.
Yeah.
It's just. crafty.
Crafting.
The
Yep.
one thing I was worried about was the inventory levels for the land claims, but Swags had also cleared that up and said those were the initials that had already went out. That was our. There's going to be plenty for everybody because I was worried about that. I'm going. You know what? I'm not going to get into one of these floor price battles where people are just flipping them over in 10 seconds. And
True.
listen, I get it. It's part of the business, but I believe he's going to have more than enough for new players and the existing player base from what he had explained without going into numbers and things like that. Because
Right.
unfortunately, thing you do with the video game community, the crypto community, you're nailed to the wall if something doesn't hit at a certain point, which is ridiculous. And I've never understood it. I'd rather have something that's well done than something that's put out on the date they told me it's going to be put out
Mm-hmm.
and have a million bugs or issues. Because either way, you're going to get bad press. And in
True.
that type of situation, bad press isn't good press. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No, I'm
I
one of
I
those people. I'm one of those people that, hey man, if you gotta push, if you say, hey, tomorrow, what would that be? February 22nd, game's coming out, and then tomorrow comes around, you're like, you know what, we're pushing it back a month because we want to polish it. I'm totally okay with that as long as you plan on delivering. Because again, I don't want to see the team or I don't want to see the game get smashed and a bunch of, what I mean, bad
yep,
headlines because the game
yep,
was bugged as fuck. I don't want to see that.
right. And listen, man, these are investments. We all made investments into this company. So, somebody starts talking shit, I'm all over them, man. I'm like, yo, man, you're messing with me and my people's money. Like, back off, dude. Where are your facts? Like,
Swear to God.
where are your facts? Your facts. And then I'll have an educated argument with you. If not, I'm just gonna be a meathead and tell you to beat it. You know what I mean? Like, get the hell out of here with that.
I
People
swear.
talk all the traditional gamer YouTubers are they just blow numbers out their asses completely. Like, they're just made up. They're completely made up. And I've gone in their comments and said, "Tell me where you've gotten them numbers from, and then I'll either concede to you or I will tell you where you got your numbers probably are wrong." They won't even answer.
Yeah.
All right, you got 2K subs. It's not that hard to see the comments. They're not that many. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man. No, I'm telling you, man. Like some of these people are out here just trashing Star Atlas, which is cool and all, but like, it's like then don't fucking play the game. Don't buy the ships, sell the fucking
Right.
ships, and get out. You know what I mean?
Get
Like
out.
we don't care to hear it. We're building real shit, and we're on the side of we've already accepted the fact it's not going to come out for 3 to 4 years. We're cool with that, man. We're cool.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We just want the team to deliver. If we're okay with you guys taking 3 to 4 years, then you know what? We're gonna rock with you. You know what I mean? And with the amount of money that they're bringing in, I really think that they can deliver. You know what I mean? Because it sounds like they want to grow the team. You know what I mean? Things just want to get bigger and bigger. So I feel they can do it. You know what I mean? But until that time comes, if it's 7 years down the road and not a single game has been released, well then maybe I'm gonna be like, all right, what are we doing here? 3 4 years, handle it, do it. I'm a ride with you to the end.
And listen, man, you look at the beauty of the game of Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the artist, the concept artist Sarah that was introduced last week in the town hall. I caught this. I didn't know it. I mean, I don't follow Star Citizen that tightly. I'm starting to now because I want to get tactics done with people. But she is revered in that community. The one YouTuber was like, "Oh no, not Sarah, no!" And I'm like, "Yes." And I had said something to her. I'm like, "I had no idea. One of the ships you drew, I love, man. I
Yeah.
fly that little guy everywhere, man. It's a small shuttle type ship, but I love. It's just it reminds me of a Star Trek Voyager shuttle. It's just got that kind of feel to it. It's real easy to fly, and It's good. It's like a dinghy to your boat. You know what I mean? It's good
Right.
to
Right.
hop around, do local stuff. It's not a fight or anything, but it's good just to do things. And they got a few people over there now, and that
Mm-hmm.
tells you something. They're Star Citizen, I believe, is paying okay, so they're not. It's not like you know what I mean.
They're
They're
not
not
jumping
leaving.
boat for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah,
For any old
yeah,
reason, I should say. Yeah.
yeah. That's
And
that's
the other
tells you a lot.
yeah, it tells you a lot too. And I say this too. What tells me a lot about Star Atlas is I've been saying this recently. So I know of like Xcode joining the team. You got Ash is joining the team. And I'm sure there's some others, but just talking from these two, they joined team. They haven't left yet. they're still
Nope.
bullish as hell on this game with as much as
Yep.
they can tell us without disclosing things, under NDA. But, that tells me that, hey, I think there actually might be something here, because if they didn't like it, you would see the attitude switch real quick, like, fuck, I screwed up. Excuse all of
No,
my language, everybody, but you know what I mean? Like, they would be like, damn, I think I did something wrong. And the attitude would switch real quick, whatever contract they signed.
it's easier to jump from somebody when you're new than it
Yeah,
is established because then you have all those links. They would have jumped. They would have definitely jumped. Said, I just had a better thing come my way. Yeah, there's a
yeah,
million ways to stop that. That's not it. That's not it. There's something definitely growing there. And I mean, look, I mean, we're growing real businesses off of that, and it's not even out yet.
true
Think
that.
about it. That's huge, man. That is huge. What a movement, man. It's incredible.
The
It's
space is
incredible.
real. This
It is
is real, man. And here's what
real.
I'm looking forward to is to kind of shift back to gameplay.
Yeah.
Man, I'm excited and I'm ready to build with the Final Frontier, and I know you're ready to build with the Alessio family. You guys are doing that. We're doing that. Like, I'm so excited for when the time does come and gameplay is out. 15, 16 hours in game. You know what I mean? Make sure I work out in the morning, eat right, stay healthy, but put them hours in, because it sounds like it's going to be very lucrative, and this is going to be the place you want to be, and you're going to want to have players that are in all different time zones so they can stay up, people that you
Round
trust.
the
But I'm
clock.
just ready for the grittiness.
Yep. Round the clock. You're gonna need it. You're gonna
I'm
need
gonna need it.
security clock, man. And I mean, I'm looking at it from the perspective of like, hey, listen, I can get people in countries that can't make any money without breaking their backs
Mm-hmm.
and like the game and have an internet connection. I can give them a freaking job. Like you don't have to be in some like because some of these guilds are just man, it's corporate. You can feel it's corporate. You know what I mean? It's really it's it's just sweatshops almost. I could be wrong. A lot of
Yeah.
them do give back to the community as well, but you look at some of them and like you're just another number at that point. Like, you could build some really good communities for people and have them build real life wealth. That you can't get past that, man. That's amazing. Completely amazing. Like if I could pay somebody a salary off of something that I created for them just to be a fighter, think about that. What do you
Yeah.
do? Blow ships up all day.
Blow
Excuse me? What?
ships up all day. Like a fucking doctor.
What do you do after 10 hours of work on the
Yeah.
game? Do you actually go to a real job for 4 hours for fun? I mean, how does
Yeah.
that work out? Once it flips, and that's. I mean, there's going to be so many possibilities, but man, if people aren't ready, they're in trouble. They are in big trouble. And granted, there's going to be PMC type guilds where they're not going to have to, load up the bear with all these soldiers and all, but you got to have some people that know what the hell they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You can get sniped walking around town. You know what I'm saying? Like it just depends on where you're at. Not everybody's going to stay in the safe zone. That's for sure. I mean, that's a
Facts.
great Adidas. That's a great place for Gucci, a movie theater.
Uh-huh.
You know, safe zones. That's what they're made for. I mean, now I don't know what the plans are once you build up a planet big enough. Can you make it a safe zone? I know what I read in the white paper is you're in charge of security for that area. So now you got your own basically, your own military or police force patrolling your own planet. That could be a multi guild planet. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so
Mm-hmm.
many possibilities. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah. So
But there's going to be more NATOs than just one. Let's put it that way. You know, I see
facts.
other games, man.
I
People
agree.
people are tribal. You know what I'm saying? People are tribal. Like I did this, you're wrong. You're doing that. I'm
Yeah.
staying with my tribe, and you guys are in our way.
Yeah.
And
Facts,
that's
man. So
that's
we've talked about a lot about gameplay, and I imagine, I feel like people are actually listening through this whole thing just because, like, this is what they want to hear. I'm pretty sure of it. Um, so if we've kept the listeners this long, maybe for any new people that might hear this when it goes out tomorrow, when they hear this, new players in 3 years, 4 years, a year, whatever the case may be, if they haven't found a home, but they're for some reason listening to this, we appreciate you listening. Tell them a little bit about what the Alessio family is, what you guys stand on, and just those core values, and why this might be the right place for them to make their home.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So Alessio is a multicultural mafia guild, or DAC, or DAO, or however you want to say it. I'm just going to say Guild for now because we're still built on social entertainment. And what that is, we plan to have a Yakuza, an Italian mafia. That's the first one we went after, obviously, because that's the most recognizable to most of our members and what have you. There's a Peaky Blinders, basically, Korean, Chinese. I know there is some South American type things being talked about, Mexican. So, and I have yet, and nobody's brought it up yet, but I have yet to see any American gangster type stuff. Which, hey, bring it on, man. We could use some Bloods and Crips too. But we're not the bad guys. We're more or less going to be a military force. Um, the current leaders now are extremely brilliant and extremely smart. There is going to be, Jimmy Hoffa is one of the smartest people I've ever heard talk about governments. We're going to have some type of liquid democracy with votes. So each member's vote counts. Let's say it's in an area that your expertise is not in, and you don't want to vote yes or no or A, B, or C because you don't know it. You could pass your vote on to a member who may be your friend and an excellent person within this vote. With knowledge and what have you. So there's a lot of upward swing to that. Um, we're going to be doing some real life things coming off of it. We are going to
Hmm.
have strip clubs, so there's going to be, there's talks of casinos, strip clubs, bars,
Yeah.
entertainment type value things. Um, I still have a baby that I want to launch, a news channel, so actresses, role players,
Yeah.
talking to follow the wars, to follow the scenes, to follow the good things, the bad things, running commercials, real life commercials, bored apes want to drop something new. They throw a commercial up. Nikes, whatever it may be. I mean, the possibilities are limitless, but like, we're not going out and extorting people and, strong arming them because a lot of people do have that stigmata because they go mafia.
Right.
Uh, there's an NFT coming out that's going to drop soon, at least some hints of it. So that's going to be really cool. We've let that out a little bit, so it's
Hmm.
not like, but I can't go into detail on that yet. But that's
Looking
that's
forward
coming.
to it.
There's going to be, and it's going to be all centered around that multicultural mafia lore. So it's not going to just be one kind of drop, like one particular type. It's going to be really interesting, and it's familiar based. It doesn't cost you anything to jump into Discord, join in, just, you're an associate when you're in the Discord. To
Hmm.
become a made member, it's different. There's, much more going on behind locked doors in the Discord than there is, up front. But, it's like anything. It's like any mafia business. You go in, you think it's an olive oil company, and you go in the back, and the Godfather's back there, right?
Hell
But
yeah. Yeah.
it's familiar based, and you know what? The core group, we've really knit it together, and it's people of all different walks of life, different countries. One of our lore masters is from Spain. Me and Boot are playing together all the time, and he's from England. I love it when he's on night shift because it makes it real easy for me to play with him.
Hmm.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit of everybody, and
Yeah.
you don't have to be a gangster or knowledgeable about a gangster. But if you want to try something out like that, it's a good place. A lot of artists. We have, and that's something I'm high on. I mean, I think artists have a big place in this metaverse. I use the word. I really do, and it's going to be the backbone of our community, and that's huge. I mean, we got Jack Stone out there in Australia, and the things he's doing is just absolutely amazing. We got another member named Phil Leotardo, and these are some of the original guys, like the
Hmm.
initial group. He's building in Unreal Engine 5 in Alessio Mansion, a place for us to have our blood oath rituals and to make people in VR. And, eventually stuff like that could be ported into Star Atlas,
That's sick.
eventually.
Yeah.
So, you're going to have multiple universes. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, man. I'm stoked for what you guys are bringing to the table, and that all sounds, man, I can't wait. You know what I mean? I think that's gonna be some dope stuff that you guys are bringing to the table. I got nothing but love for you guys. Um, I don't
Right.
wanna I don't want to necessarily wrap it up, but at the same time, I feel like we covered a lot of good game talk that the people want to
Yeah.
hear and they need to hear. You just covered what the the Alezio family is bringing to the table and why. If you're feeling some type of way, you should join this team, you know what I mean, the Alessio family, if you're liking what they're putting out. So maybe, could have done this at the beginning, but we jumped straight into it. But maybe give them a little intro of who Frankie Diamonds is and what you got going on in the future, and where they can find you, all that good stuff about Frankie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I live in New Jersey, so I grew up around a lot of gangster type stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, I remember being on a school bus going to school one day, and they were pulling a guy out of a trunk. It wasn't necessarily that kind of neighborhood, but they dumped him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was a famous guy. He was the pre John Gotti. He was John Gotti before John Gotti was who he was. His name was Sal Testa. I'll never forget it because everybody knew him. But I grew up around that stuff. I grew up around the princesses and the princes of mafias and things like that. So I've always liked that kind of lure. Um, I was a for years. I did divisional management in the construction industry. I almost sound like John Gotti. I'm a plumbing salesman, you see, but I
Exactly.
grew up around construction and
Yeah.
rough, you know what I mean? And I worked my way up there. I grinded it. I didn't come out with this big shiny degree. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family business. So I mean, at 9, I knew what branding was and things like that, and how to manage people and dispatch people and do ops and things like that. So I come from a background of that, and then I went out. I didn't want to do it with the family anymore because I wanted to do my own. So I went out in the world, worked for one of the largest contractors in my industry, at least on the East Coast, if not number 3 in the world. I was in the corporate offices and all that jazz. I've seen it all. I've done a lot of recruitment professionally, which translated well over into gaming. I used to recruit very heavily in gaming and find people and put them in the right spots. Just translated it over to fun times, and so I've done a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and I've done a little bit of. I haven't done as much as Ardo, but I've done a little bit of a lot.
Yeah, no,
but
man, you bring a lot to the table, and I think that's, you're just a stand-up guy. From what I know, we've known each other for a few months now. Like, yo, Frank, you're my dude. You know what I mean? Like, and I just love everything you bring to the table. This is why I was so excited for the past couple of weeks to get you on and sit down and just bullshit because like this went exactly where I thought it would go because people like this is the one I feel like people are gonna listen to because everybody loves Frankie, everybody loves your voice, everybody loves what you have to say, not just voice, right? So nothing but respect for you, man. You're an
oh man,
OG.
I try to come out real. Sure, I put it on a little thick sometimes when I'm doing the Frankie Diamonds, but you know what I mean. You got to play the role a little bit,
It's
but
you, man. It's you.
it's who I am. Like I said, for years I've tried to beat this accent out of me, and now I'm bringing it back.
Yeah, why
but
not? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Why change who you are? I say.
right. You gotta stay true to yourself, and that's the
Exactly.
always staying true to yourself, no matter what you're doing. But
Facts, man.
got a YouTube channel I got out. That's Yo, it's Frankie Diamonds, and on Twitter I'm at Kryptonelli Frankie Diamonds.
Hmm.
It, I don't drop much alpha, but I try to. I'm going to be dropping some alpha on NFTs when I can. I'm doing a guild breakdown, so I do each guild. I'm a little bit behind on that. I gotta catch up. One of our guys, the dean, he's been doing my editing lately, so he's cleaning me up a little bit instead of me taking as long as it would take with me not doing them.
Hmm.
And I overdo it and underdo it at the same time. So he's been doing the editing for me and does a fantastic job. He likes editing, and that's his thing, so that helps. We got a lot of talent in our family, man. You just got to find it and use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I think that's what makes up a good team is like everybody being like, okay, here's my skill set, here's what I'm not good at. Hey, no worries, I got you. I'm good on that, but I'm not so good at what you're skilled at. So cool.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean? We'll mesh well, yin yang. And I think that's what makes a best team is being able to everybody's able to go, okay, this is my skill set, this isn't my skill set, and you just fill the slots of each skill set and you're good to go.
That's it.
And
That's it.
yeah, and those people that are good at something are able to teach you a little bit better at what you're not good at, but then you're able to teach them a little bit of what they may not be good at. You know what I mean? But you let those who are strong in their skills do the thing. You know what I mean? And everybody learns and watches at the same time. So yeah,
Like that old saying, it takes a village, man, and that's the
it
truth.
does.
It really does. It really does.
It
So
does, man.
I'm just excited to be on here, man, because when you're, the blockchain Mr. Beast, it's going to be exciting. Sat there.
I'm humbled, man. I'm humbled. Yeah, man. I'm trying, man. You know, going full time in about a week. You know, I'm ready to ramp this to a new level and, you know, polish up the YouTube. You know, make these videos look a lot better when they're rendered through YouTube, and then, you know, get together about 3 or 4 intros for the different series that I want to do. Start running a little bit on TikTok. Obviously the interviews will I'll keep those coming, but yeah, you know, I'm working with a couple of 3D modelers right now. I'm in
I
talks
love,
with them, so I'm trying to ramp it all up by, you know, by June. You know, I want to be in full force, everything put together well, and second half of the year, third quarter, fourth quarter is game time for sure.
I love it. I love it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thank you so much, Frankie. I really appreciate you coming on here. Everybody, please go follow this man. You probably already know who he is, but I'm telling you, big things are coming from Frankie, and big things are coming from the Alezio family. If it's your home, go ahead and hit them up. They're super easy guys to work with, super knowledgeable. And shout out to everybody on the Alezio family. Thank you guys for just always holding it down for the Moon Man and doing the thing.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah,
Much love.
man. One love for sure. One love. All right, everybody. You've just listened to another episode of the Moon Man Experience. One of my favorites for sure. I'll say it. And this is one I hope you made it to this part of the interview because, man, this is, you know, this is what it's about, getting down to brass tacks and actually talking about what's going to be happening in the future, the different things that are going to be going on in Star Atlas. And if you you know, if you support me, please go support, you know, Alezio family and Frankie Diamonds. Are doing big things. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And yeah, we are Star Atlas hashtag.